Welcome once again. My name is Oluwafemi, popularly called IamBezaleel, and the platform is SolutionPlus, where we deal with issues, where we discuss solutions to issues, and not just solutions to issues, we discuss homegrown solutions. And today I have with me once again our analyst. Okay, let me quickly introduce him. I still have with me once again Mr. Oluwadamilare, Adeleke, Ishola in the house. Welcome once again, my brother.
Thank you very much. It's nice having you around, and it's nice being on this platform once again.
Yes, you are welcome. You are welcome on the platform. But before we start today's discussion, I really want us to know that we have treated several issues, but today we are going to have a special edition where we'll take some of those things that are trending in our society today, and we'll just be doing a form of discussion where we need to come up with our own solution. Mind you, whatever we discuss here, they are not binding. They are just our opinion as analyst and interviewer. So we'll be discussing around those trending issues and things that we think we can actually take as solutions. And before we do that, let's quickly go on short break, and after the break I'll be engaging my guests and we'll discuss issues that are trending in our society. Thank you very much.
If I told you how I came this far and all the things that I've been through, need I tell you that I've been to hell? I've seen it all and done it all. Growing up as a child wasn't easy. Had to work twice as hard, I was easy. Grandma was my inspiration. Every day there was what's for situation. Shoes, no laces, bread, no tea, but I kept on coming strong. But that's when I looked to the mirror and I told myself this was this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And I say, this little light of mine, ooh yeah, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let me tell you how I got this far.
Welcome back once again. My name is still Oluwafemi, popularly called IamBezaleel, and the platform is SolutionPlus. I still have in the house with me our regular analyst, and in person of Mr. Oluwadamilare Adeleke Ishola. And today, the first thing, I think, the first area that we are going to look at, the issue of education. For any country to reasonably develop, they must take education as one of the primary sector that must be well funded. And on that note, we have issues in our society around education. In fact, it is obvious that education is underfunded, is underfinanced in our own current situation, from primary school to tertiary level. Although we are not going to take all the levels, primary, secondary, or the tertiary level, but we are going to take the one that is trending now, and that is the issue of ASU strike. How did we get here, and what could be the solution to some of this lingering problem? So I have in the house with me Mr. Oluwadamilare, and he will be doing justice to some of these things. And we also have the issue of minimum wage. And we have other issues that we'll be discussing today. But as a way of starting the program, sir, the issue of ASU strike has been recurring. What can you say to this issue of ASU strike?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Nice to be here once again. Concerning the issue of ASU strike, like I've rightly mentioned, it has been a recurring decimal in Nigerian national history, and for the fact that the ones that have happened earlier on have not been resolved is what is still leading us to what we still have here today. And if, as of today, this issue is not also well resolved, it will also lead to further problem, in future, whereby, this issue of strike, ASUU strike, will still continue to come on board, and when we talk about education in Nigeria. And of course, if you want to ask me, say, why are they on strike anyway? What is the reason for such industrial action? Is it that the ASUU does not want to work? Is it that they just like, okay, we just want to take a break?
Before you go into that, I think I should do the questioning. The thing is, so that we won't waste much time, because we have several other things to actually discuss on the program today. The question is, I got admission into university in 2003, and although I've spent several years at home, and as far as I can remember, we have been experiencing this issue from that time till today. And of course, government is continuing. Why is this strike still persisting even till now? Why?
Yes, that is what I'm trying to explain. We do not have a government that pays attention on education. And at your when you are introducing yourself the other time, you talk about the fact that we always have this issue of government not paying attention on education, on different levels of education generally, not only on the tertiary education as we have now. There is this lack of willingness, to actually support education in this nation. So, government changes, parties changes, but what we do have is just like the same government, the same elite anyway, the same mind, the same orientation, and like we have said in this platform, in one of these discussions, that you see, the elites are not really interested in education of the commoners, of Nigerians. I think it pays them, that we are less educated, and even if we are educated, it pays them that we are, like, let me say, half educated, or we remain at the level of mediocre. It has a gain, for them. And you will observe that many of the children of these people are not schooling in this nation. They are being sent abroad. Many of them are being sent to many of the developed democracies to go and learn. So
what's the solution to this lingering problem?
Yes, the solution to this lingering problem, I would say part of it is what ASUU is doing now. Part of it is what ASUU is doing now, as in holding the government responsible, putting them on their toes to do the needful as far as education is concerned.
I would not want to agree with that, because they have been doing this from years immemorial.
That is why I said part of it.
Okay.
Part of it.
Okay.
Now, it's a combination of part that makes up a whole. Now, we also, on our own, we should not just be looking at ASUU. In fact, I'm expecting, it's just like this thing has been like ASUU problem. What I'm expecting from the labor union is not what they are doing now.
It's like they should fight the war together.
They should fight the war together.
Okay, the question, because there are some people from other levels of education, they have been coming up with this argument that it has always been that ASUU has been so selfish in their approach to fighting for the quality of education in Nigeria, that they always fight for themselves. At the end of the day, they increase their salary, they answer them whatever they want to do, and after that, and that's why we are where we are today. What do you have to say to that in just few sentences?
Well, we don't want to see it that way. I would not want
because I still have something to ask you about that. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I will not want to see it that way. I don't want to see ASUU as being selfish. I will just want to see ASUU as defending what is committed into their care. And if other levels of education, other promoters of from different levels of education themselves, could toe the line of ASUU, it will be good. But it's not like it is ASUU that actually, summoned courage to do this kind of thing. It is ASUU that actually, decided to refuse.
Do you know why I asked you that question?
Yes.
It's because you said that it shouldn't be we shouldn't see it as a war for the ASUU alone. Okay. That it should be something that we all should fight for. So that means seeing it as our problem.
Okay.
Now the question is, other levels of education are so basic, even more than that of tertiary education.
Yes.
Because they form the fundamental, they form the basis for which other levels of education are built. So if today we all know that the primary school teachers, they are always at the mercy of the state.
Okay.
And they are even paid less, in fact far lesser compared to those people in tertiary education, in their tertiary institutions. The secondary school teachers, they see themselves as second fiddle to those in the higher institution. And these are part of the issues that why can't we fight an holistic fight for education? Because if you are saying we are fighting for education, because we are addressing the issue of education here. Now, if we are saying we are fighting for education at ASUU level, at tertiary level, what happens to other levels that leads to that particular what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, thank you very much. Back to that question once again. Let me see. You see, ASUU cannot fight the problem of every levels of education.
I'm not saying they should fight it.
Okay, yes.
I'm not saying they should fight it. But what I'm saying is it not looking like a selfish game on the part of the ASUU all the time? Because okay, or maybe I should paint it very well for you so that you understand what I
get what you are saying.
Okay.
I get what you are saying. Now,
okay.
It's not a selfish game. Now, like I was trying to say, now it is university education. ASUU is in charge of university education to manage.
Why can't they come together to fight this war together as education?
Then that is not the problem of ASUU anyway. It cannot be the problem of ASUU. Are you saying it is ASUU that will go and invite others?
Are we saying that it is good that the house is divided against themselves?
I'm not saying it is good either.
Okay.
But what I'm just saying is the fact that it should not be the problem of ASUU alone. It is a general problem. It is a general problem among those people that are managing different levels of this education. Like I said earlier on, if ASUU is managing the university, or let me say the tertiary education generally, when you talk of secondary level, we have people that are managing it as well. People that have been put in charge to manage this thing. What are they doing? When you talk of this primary school level, we have the people that have been put in charge to manage it. What are they doing? But like I said earlier on, other levels of education, those who are put in charge to manage it, have not summoned enough courage among themselves to do what ASUU is doing.
But I think there's something seriously fundamentally wrong with the way we structure things. But before we continue with that, I want us to go on short break, and when we are back, I'll still keep firing, and maybe you will be on the defensive or you'll be on my side. That will decide when we come back. Thank you.
All the pain had to be to slip off to a better, had to jump to at the bottom. Life's so fair, and that's how it is. Hopeless and useless, that's what they say. Grandma used to tell me, no room for failure. Every day a new drama. As I sit back and reminisce on the drama. We used to have shoes, no laces, bread, no tea. That was how it used to be. The story's different now, and I'm a witness to a better life. And I'm saying, I'm gonna let it shine. Ooh, this little light of mine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. I know.
So welcome back once again. My name is still Olla Oluwafemi, and the platform is still SolutionPlus, and I still have with me Mr. Oluwadamilare. Is our regular analyst in the house, and what we have been discussing has been the issue of ASUU. Maybe in our next episode we'll discuss other ones, but it seems the issue of ASUU is something that we have to deal with extensively. And back to you, Mr. Oluwadamilare. The other time I was saying that why can't we fight the issue of this education, quality of education, the rise in the quality of education together, from primary level to secondary level to tertiary level? Why can't we do that holistically, instead of one sector of the education fighting for its own rights, the other sector fighting for its own? Why can't we fight this war together?
Well, that's a very good question. Let me begin by saying, but indeed, I will first want to begin by saying, it starts with somebody taking the lead. Now, when someone takes the lead, then it creates an opportunity, an avenue for others to follow. No, in my own opinion, I think ASUU is taking the lead. And ASUU is sending a message, to other levels of education, to those who are the managers of other levels of education, that this is something you can also do, to actually make the quality of education in your own space, in your own sphere, better. And let me say this, you see, when there is a unanimous action, like when there is a similar action, when actions become similar, when activities become similar, then it will lead to a unanimous decision, and that will make a kind of formidable thing. What am I trying to say? I see you doing something I'm doing. We see one or two other individuals doing something we are doing. Before we know it, we come together under one umbrella, under one unit.
Don't you think other sectors has been incapacitated? For example,
you mean other levels of education?
Oh yes, don't you think they are incapacitated in this sense? I think most of these higher institutions, they have a body. They have a body that can fight the war. But for other levels of education, they have been so divided.
We also have the Nigerian Union of Teachers.
They have been so divided that some will be, the salary of some of them will be under local government, the salary of some of them will be under state, some will be under federal. It becomes a problem. But for ASUU, if you are under state, the state gets to pay your salary. If you are federal university, the federal gets to pay your salary. And that becomes, it becomes something very easy for them to come together.
Okay.
So but if you look at most of this primary school, I tell people that the issue, the problem they have faced over time has actually re-engineered their thinking, their morale, their personal self-esteem, that to the extent that they can't fight this war anymore. Because if you remember very well, in those days they will write at the in front, if there is a vacant room for people to come and rent, they will write there, house for let but not for teachers. I hope you still remember in those days. Yes. So how do we help our education? Because we are talking about education here. How do we help our education to be reformed holistically? Because it's like saying that we want to solve the issue of tertiary education alone, forgetting that others are the fundamentals. They are the foundation for higher institution. Because I would like to let you understand very well here that primary education, some of us, we had our primary education in public school. We had our secondary education in public school.
Yes.
And of course, we went to public university.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And the only foundation that was laid was from primary school. Because if you don't get it right at the primary level, then you are gone.
Okay.
And with what we have presently, with the way things are, because we conducted several research and we realized that schools, public primary schools, they are not even up to the standard. They are not even close to standard at all. Don't let's even use up to standard. They are not even close to standard. So what we are saying is, how do we solve this problem holistically? Because if ASUU keeps getting what they want, what happens to others?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me retrace, from the beginning. I think you began by mentioning the fact that, or by asking that, when we have different institutions of government, handling the salary package of many of these teachers, that in a kind of way, has brought about division.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. In my own opinion, I want to believe it makes the job easier. Now, if you ask me, what do I mean? You see, on the first note, now, it is easier to assess the lower structure of government. It is easier to, follow them up. It is easier to be on their toes. It is easier to, actually get in touch with these people. And much more importantly, when group, come together, it is easier to mount pressure on such level on government than the way you will do for federal government. Now, association of teachers or of a particular local government can gather themselves together, and march to the local government, for example, go with their placards, go with their some of those things. It is easier to do that rather than people coming from all over Nigeria to go to Abuja. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. The same thing happens to the state government. It is easier to go and stage a protest in government office.
Do you know that the?
But my point is this.
Do you still know that the lecturers in federal university, they get their money as at when due? We have the issue of LAUTECH.
Yes, you are correct.
We have the issue of polytechnics.
Based on your
they are
question.
hold 18 months in one state, in one particular state. They are hold 18 months.
That is what I was trying to say. My point is not the issue of whether the payment of salary package is divided. I said earlier on that these people themselves must have to someone call it toward the line of ASO. I believe it is the issue of their own permit me to say self-esteem, understanding their own self-worth, to actually do this thing.
Yes.
I believe that is what is in question here.
Yes.
It's not the issue of whether somebody is paying this salary or who is paying our salary.
So you are saying that they have a force that is strong enough to fight for themselves.
Yeah, they have a force that is strong enough to fight for themselves, and they must rise up to that occasion. I've never seen them rising up to that occasion. That's what I'm saying, that ASU is already showing them the way, giving them the language that works for Nigerian federal government. They must also do the same thing. But I've not seen that willingness inside of them, so to say. I've not seen them understanding the fact that, this is our right, we have to fight for it. Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. They've been in that position because they themselves, they consent to whatever the state or the local government is doing to them. And they fail to realize their right, and they fail to live up to the expectation. I think that is what is going on here. So it is easier for them actually to follow up on this thing more than what ASU is doing now. In fact, I want to believe that if it's a particular state government, that is not treating its worker well, that is not that has issue with the teachers, it is easier to mount pressure on that state government. If the labor union and the Nigerian Union of Teachers and whatever within that state is doing their own, by the time the national also join, it will be a lot of pressure on that particular state.
So thank you very much, Mr. Oluwadamilare. In order for us not to, our time is fast spent, and we need to round up now so that we won't take much time. I want to ask you, we have the quality of education keeps dropping in Nigeria. In fact, you have said it today that most of our leaders, they prefer to send their kids, their children, outside of the country. In fact, we have descended so low that we send our children to Ghana. We send them to Sierra Leone. We send them to South Africa. These are African countries.
Even Benin Republic over here.
Yes, Benin Republic. Of course, we have recruiters here in Nigeria, they recruit our children to that place, and they tell you once you have money, they just take you. And we keep nose diving as an inequality of education. Do you see any solutions to this problem of quality of education in Nigeria?
Yes, we actually began with the solution. You asked question on the solution the other time, and I think that was what led us to many of those things we've said earlier on today. Now, solution, apart from the fact that the managers of different levels of education themselves needs to rise up, I also want to mention that the people that are recipients of this thing, that are the receiving hand, must also rise up to the occasion. They must not make it look as if you are fighting for your own cause. What is our own? They must see it as an attack against
education in general.
Yes, they must see it as ideology of attack against one is an attack against all. That if education is being bastardized, if education is being made mess of, it's coming to affect us. They should not see ASU is fighting for their own pocket, NUT is fighting for their own pocket, this one is fighting. No, it shouldn't be like that. They should see it as if these people are fighting for the right thing, and they themselves must also join in mounting pressure on the government, through any means possible, in order to make government concede to the questions, to the expectations, and of course to the demand of these people.
Okay, so you are provide some of the solution. Of course, I'm an education advocate as well, and at this point, I want to say that you have actually thrown light on some of the solutions to the issue of quality of education in Nigeria, and our solution will not be complete without talking about funding.
Yes,
I think our mind should be more focused. Our government, in their budget, should show to us that they have a target that is tilted towards improving the quality of education. Because I think we discussed it on the same platform, that what we witness in past years, in just these immediate years, like in 2015, 2016, 17, was a decline, a sharp decline in the funding of education. In fact, we have never had up to 10% of our budget allotted to education in this government. So it means it shows. I'm only inferring from what we have in our budget. Yes. I'm not saying that's what they have, but it's only showing to us, as an analyst, I can only say that it's showing to us that education is not the priority of our government.
Very well.
Using what we have in the budget. And I think another thing that we should look at, as you are listening to us at home, that we are all stakeholders. All our hand must be on deck in order for us to improve the level of education. I remember in those days when the children goes to school, when we go to school, when we come back, our parents will ask us to go and take our bath, eat our food. After eating our food, they will allow you to sleep. After sleeping, they will ask you to go and read. They don't even know what you are reading in the first place. They don't know if you ask, they can't even ask you anything, but they just want you to read. So all stakeholders must come together to help the improvement in the quality of education that we have. And government alone cannot afford education. Private sector should come and help the government in funding education. That's why we have PPP, public-private partnership. Yes. We have concepts around the world that they've actually adopted PPP and is working for them. We also have I think content too. The content of our education, we need to improve the content. We can't be using the same curriculum that we used in 1960 and still be applying it to this jet age.
Exactly.
It's not possible. So the quality of education that we have will not be able to measure up to this present world. There was a time I was discussing with some people. I said, we are in a type of education where people learn from the screen. And the whole world is moving away from the screen. We are looking at holograms. We are looking at some other technologies. But today in Nigeria, our children, they don't have access to computer. I can say categorically in some local government in Oyo State, I can say categorically, in fact, their primary school, they don't even have a laptop, a single laptop in their principal's office, let alone having it as a lab, a computer lab. In fact, we have conducted a Dynamo Transformation Global Initiative. We have what we call rural ICT education that we normally do during summer holidays and times that we know that children will not be going to school. We normally conduct this program, and in the process you realize that some people, it's like a miracle to them. Some of these children, it's like as if a miracle has occurred. It's like as if they want to touch a gold. So you realize that
they don't even have teacher.
Yes, they don't have. So you realize that the level of education that we have is not tailored to what we actually needed. So we need homegrown solutions to some of this problem. We need homegrown content. We need contents that will be tailored towards the need of the people. That means need content and need-based content. So thank you very much. I want to say it's been wonderful speaking to my guest today.
Thank you very much. This nice coming around.
Yeah, thank you very much. Your name, your phone number.
Of course, my name still remains the same. Ishola Adeleke Oluwadamilare. That's it. And like I always say, you can contact me on my Facebook. Still with the same name, Ishola Adeleke Oluwadamilare. My number is still 080-3206-8560.
You didn't ask them to hook you up this time. Okay, no problem. Yes, on this note, we shall be calling it a quit. But before then, my name is Olla Oluwafemi. People call me IamBezaleel. My Twitter handle is Twajiwhite, TWERGYWHITE. And across all platforms, you can search for me using that name. And also, you can use IamBezaleel as hashtag. Just search through the Google and you get me. And my phone number is 07030658304. Once again, 07030658304. That's my number. And on this note, I want to say we discuss solution on this platform. And it's not just solution, but we discuss homegrown solutions. Thank you for listening to us. Until next time, when we come your way again, let's keep looking for solutions to the problem that we have in our society. Thank you very much.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.